So fucking tech and Nigerian music industry.
Yes, sir.
Nas is about to make $100 million
from Coinbase, which is wild.
Coinbase.
Yeah.
We see Jay-Z partnering with tech companies. We see people like Kevin just going outside of music into like the hip hop culture, Kevin Durant and you know, NBA athletes, you know, really investing in tech.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself, why are Nigerian companies, you know, doing that?
We don't know for sure if they are not doing that. We don't know. We can't quantify the things that they've been able to invest in over the past few years or over the course of their careers. But we know a lot of them have a lot of real estate investments. We do know that for a fact. But one evidence that we have for sure is that the sort of the highest buyout that we had in Nigeria, which is Paystack, $200 million to Stripe. No Nigerian artist cashed out. Everybody cashed out. Like no Nigerian artist, not one, was one of the earliest investors in that particular company. It is weird. You will literally not find that in advanced climes now. Why is that curious? Why is that a worthy conversation? The Nigerian tech space is in maturation. We have passed the beta phase. It's the phase where people are interested in this space. People are interested in especially health tech, agri-tech, and fintech. It attracts them. At some point, it was e-commerce. E-commerce was what they wanted to do at some point. But now, it's all those things. Literally, you can't see any high-price buyouts now and not see an artist, a basketball player, an athlete, or a movie star do that. There are literally companies that all these people create to invest in early rounds of some of these things. Nas is on his Queensbridge. Nas has invested in a ton of companies, early stage, early investment rounds, Lyft, Uber, Spotify, Coinbase. This is not the first time he's cashing out in the last 6 months. This is the second one. There was a time that he made about $40 million from another high price buyout. Because Coinbase is going to be listed on Nasdaq, it's estimated to be able to cash about $100 million. Nigerian artists, it's also not their fault, right? A lot of them are not very aware of what's going on. They are not very literate about the realities of Nigerian tech. But sometimes, people don't have to tell you everything. You just have to be aware to those things. And another problem that I have with it is when they find a way to then do it, they start announcing it. You are not announcing it. Are you doing it for me? You are not doing it for me. You are doing it for yourself and your children. Why are you telling me? There is also a dearth in like the link between Nigerian tech, especially investment opportunities, and the industry. That's an opportunity for somebody. Someone has to be the guy, like that owns a unit trust scheme or an investment vehicle or an investment company that can speak to these artists, present them with the portfolios, and manage the portfolios for them.
Okay. So let's start with, do Nigerian artists reach enough to invest in the tech?
Absolutely. How much do tech startups need? The amount that these guys command per show is ridiculous. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. How much, like what we deem to be a high price buyout is $200 million. That's not a high price buyout by global standards. $200 million is not a high price buyout. But by Nigerian standards, by African standards, it's a lot of money. And that's why we are proud of those guys. So to be an angel investor in an early round of any company, there's an angel investor in Nigeria that all he does is put $50,000 to $100,000. $50,000 to $100,000 as an angel investor in an early round of investment for a startup. It's a lot of money. That's 50 million naira. They will burn through. It will take them a minute to burn through that. Maybe it's not going to take them 2 years, obviously, but it's going to take them a fair bit of time to be able to burn through that cash, and it's going to get you the equity that you need. It doesn't have to be $1 million. Nas is might not be investing $20 million into this company. He's investing between 50 and 100,000, between $500,000. That's what he's investing. Our guys don't have to invest $500,000 in it. These guys are commanding over $50,000 a show. They have money. They can afford it. They can afford to lose money. Sometimes you're also going to lose money. A lot of them feel like real estate is a safer investment, and it's not a problem because the statistic is that 1 in about 50 startups succeed. You can't blame them because real estate appreciates. It doesn't depreciate. The advantage about investing in tech is that if you cash out in tech, it's going to be a sizable amount of money on your investment. So that's why they need to start exploring that for themselves. for themselves. It's important. There has to be a bridge between entertainment and tech. Like Nigerian entertainment is skyrocketing, and tech is also skyrocketing almost at the same time. Maybe it's not skyrocketing, but it's growing. It's in maturation. The Nigerian music industry just needs to create an industry with a proper structure. But Nigerian tech, every week, do you read Get.Africa? That's Chiago's newsletter. Every week you are seeing investment rounds every week across this continent. And it's not small money. Last year, there was a stat that Nigerian companies raised over $50 million. That's a ton of money. So over 50 million, no, over $100 million in 2020 during the lockdown. That's crazy. Those are crazy numbers. Think about the story last year. Like when some of us were trying to get startups, get them off the ground in like 2000s and maybe 2010s, it was a problem because you couldn't get the access to get to the right companies. Now, the companies seem like they're even looking for people. Like to get, addressing Norwich is investing in companies. Paystack was part of Y Combinator. It's happening every other day. And Dela is Facebook. CC Hub is Facebook as well. It's not as hard as it used to be anymore. So that means if that is happening, and you have to look at the rates, the reason why Africa is like that. Number one, internet penetration is on the increase. Like we've discussed that several times, 62%. It's still some way off the global standard, or maybe like 73.8%, but it's on the increase. South Africa is built to get to like 70% internet penetration in a while. And people in Africa are young. Over half of our population is about 19 years old. So, and at the same time, you have a population of 200 million people. That's an untapped market. It is raw. So it makes sense for people to be able to want to invest. If a company succeeds in Nigeria, you can be sure that you're going to cash out. And guess what? The place to become a billionaire is here. Because this is where the problems are. If you can solve one problem, you're good.
If you look at the American music space and you see these guys investing, you see that they're older artists.
Yeah.
Investing, not necessarily like the younger and trending artists.
Yeah.
You know, what happens to our older artists even exploring this investment? Well,
some of them might not. In Nigeria, the dynamic is different. In America, you can depend on your royalties. In Nigeria, what you can depend on is your star power. It's not fair. A Jay-Z, his catalog is worth $100 million. When he became a billionaire last year, his catalog was worth $100 million. That's a ton of money. Can Two-Face calculate his catalog? No. He might not even own his masters. Even if he does own his masters, what is it worth? It's a problem. Right? There's a disparity in it. But at the same time, so these guys might not be able to lay claim. Star power is where the money is in Nigeria. Star power is where you can get money from the shows and the endorsements. Maybe a person like Two-Face is going to get endorsements till he dies. How many people are like Two-Face? But even when you are Two-Face, Two-Face is not laying claim to the kind of money that Wizkid is making. At this time. Oh. And then you can't say for sure that younger artists are investing in tech. A lot of young artists in America are investing in tech. A lot of them. Lil Baby and some other people, they're investing in tech. They might not be saying it, but sometimes things leak where you hear that, these guys are leading for the routes.
Okay. What do Nigerian artists need to do, to set up a situation where they can have money in tech?
So before we even get there, I think we should address the fact that older artists also, they have clarity of mind, clarity of purpose. Young artists are very exuberant. Like they want to spend money on blings, they want to spend money on women. When not everybody will be like Jay-Z, who had the billionaire's mindset from the start. And you can't blame Jay-Z. Jay-Z was driving he was driving a 350 Lexus before he started making rap money. I remember there was some F Gotti talking about the fact that Dame, Jay-Z, and Biggs, they used to pull up at 197 with white Lexus each. They had a white Lexus each. So these guys had money before they got into. They used to talk about 88. It was a drug dealer, made a ton of money. Everybody is not going to be like Jay-Z. Even Nas only made the Forbes list of cash kings for the first time about less than 10 years ago. For the first time in his career. And how did he make it? He didn't make it for music. No. So there's clarity that comes with age for a lot of people. But at the same time, that's not an excuse. It shouldn't be an excuse. It should simply not be an excuse. Because you have someone like Ashton Kutcher, the actor. His portfolio is also ridiculous. Early stage investments, crazy. Invest The same thing, like Jay-Z also had, Jay-Z's portfolio is also crazy. How people know that? It just doesn't, maybe it might not be as sizable as Nas's, but it's sizable as well. So I feel like the major thing that we need right now to answer your question is we need a bridge. A lot of Nigerian artists are not literate about that. They don't know the things like that. And again, like I was saying the other time, they think it's very risky investment, and you can't blame them. It is risky. But what they can look at is what they stand to gain. Do you prefer to spend $50,000 that you can't account for, or would you prefer to put it in a startup that might make you money? What we need is an ecosystem. We need a link. Like I was saying the other time, we need a link between the tech world and the music world. So to have an ecosystem, you need different cogs to be in place. Now we have the artists, we have the funds, but we don't have the plugs. There are companies, investment companies, purpose vehicles. We have trust schemes, we have headphones, we have a lot of these people, but they might not exactly be pitching to these artists because there's a reputation that comes with being an artist, an Afro-pop artist, a reputation of quote and unquote responsibility. People don't expect you to understand the concept of investing in tech. So, but now those guys also have to play their role to create that link between music and tech. Those guys have to be able to approach some of these artists, educate them, make them know the things that are necessary and how to do some of these things. That's one necessary part. Financial advisors need to come in as well.
So round up, who are some of the artists you think are making moves like that, Nigerian artists?
We never know. But if I were going to pick anybody, I would say Burna Boy, because Burna Boy has a solid team. His mom is a very smart woman as well. And then I would say Davido. Davido will probably do it, but if he does, he'll probably announce it to Twitter anyway. So Davido is been doing a lot of things. He did something recently with cryptocurrencies. He said he was going to invest something and create a scheme, some cryptocurrency scheme about a month ago. And Wizkid, but you never know what Wizkid is doing because he will never talk about it anyway. And that's facts on the